Hello and welcome back to another editing process using only Lightroom. So this one is going to be a challenge, and it's almost a challenge from a comment I had on the last video that I'd done of Pinmill. Can Osea Beach Huts be done in just Lightroom? Now, before I start, I've already done this, and yes, it can be done. But I've made a lot of errors along the way, and it will waste time me showing you all them errors. And I'm sure I'm going to make some more errors, but I have learned from that. But the answer is yes, 99.9% of it. And I'll show you why as I use the process. Now, if you've ever been to Osea Beach Huts or seen an image of it, you know it's a very, very difficult place because there's so many objects of the beach huts. And I have got other images which are a lot more fine. I've just got one beach hut. I've selected one. That would be quite easy to do. I wanted to challenge me by picking the hardest image to process, and one I've done before, because here it is here. So yes, it can be done. Is it easier than Photoshop? No, because Photoshop you can layer things and it removes things a lot better. You've got a lot more remove choice and things like that. But can it be done in Lightroom? Yes, it can. Now, if you like this type of content, then why not think about joining my members area? It's only £1.99 a month, so it's well worth looking at. It's not even a cup of tea a month. Cup of tea. I love tea. Okay, let's try and get stuck into this, see what we can do, see if I can refine my edit from the previous time and show you quite an easy-ish way of doing it. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'll just study the image and see where I'm going to start. I'm probably going to start with the horizon, trying to remove parts of the horizon, bits and bobs. All this foreground I'll move, and I'll just remove that in little stages. So we'll have a go at this part of the horizon first. Just selecting the remove tool, using the remove, click generative AI because we're going to need that. Object aware, we'll click that because it should recognize the beach hut, which we don't want to remove. Let's see what it does. It's quite a big mass, that is, so we'll just see what that does. This is just trial and error, so, and you must keep working at it. Now, I've probably overdone it. It's actually done a fantastic job. So with that in mind, I'm then going to select the horizon there, and we just apply, get rid of little bits at a time. Obviously with the bigger areas, going to be a lot more aggressive. It's done another fantastic job. So we're going to come over here like so. I'm going to take that chunk away. These are the difficult chunks first, so we'll do little bits at a time. Okay, it's not quite done what I wanted there. So what I'm going to do is leave that area for a moment, and I'm going to remove everything else around here. So if we just increase the remove tool size, and I'm going to remove Paul W. Baker, who was in my image, and basically select all of the promenade area there, besides one or two of the grasses. And I'm going to do that instead. And then with that, I'm just going to drop the brush down, make it a little bit smaller for the detail, just around that beach hut there, add that bit there, that bit there. Do that bit. We've missed a bit of Paul W. Baker there. It's because it's doing a select. What we got there, I think I'm going to add these grasses, because if we can remove them in one sweep, it should make a better job. Okay, let's apply that. Might have to wait a little bit long for this one because the mask is so big. Let's see what it does. And obviously every time you try this, it comes up with a different result. So from my edit before, it come up with a totally different result, what it will now. It's actually done a brilliant edit, besides added more beach huts to the end. So let's see. Okay, so none of them are good. Don't like that. We'll remove that. We'll just try that again. So, and this is the trial and error. So we'll just make the brush a little bit bigger here. And what I'm going to do, a bit at a time, do a little bit less. I'm not going to go near the beach huts at the moment and apply. But we can already see what Lightroom and the AI part of it is doing. The difference with Lightroom and Photoshop is we can tell Photoshop what to do. This is more of a guesswork. Number 2 is quite good. Number 3 is put some artifacts back in. So let's choose number 2, and then we can start removing more parts of the second image. We'll remove them grasses now. Move that. And now I'm going to, no, we'll do that first. I'm probably being a bit too aggressive. Okay, we are getting there. We're getting there quite quick. Now that's good. I like that again. So let's just have a look at that. We need to get rid of this at the bottom. We could even crop that out if we wanted to, but I will try and get rid of it. So let's do this difficult part. Okay, so I'm going to choose that one, even though it's sort of a more of a linear look, because it matches all the other horizon lines. So the last one we've got to do is remove this bottom piece here. And I think I will actually crop it a little bit as well. But let's remove it all. Let's work with it. So let's just have a look at the image. The image is so different already. Before I remove any more artifacts and things like that, what I'm going to do is, because it's frustrating me, is the horizon isn't straight. So if we click the crop tool, the angle little icon, that gives you a spirit level. If you just draw a line across the horizon, that will automatically align it for you. So, and we can obviously choose that diagonally and vertically as well. So that's so much better. It's so much better. Now I know the next thing is I've got a lot of dust spots on here. So let's remove the dust spots. Now I normally use Luminar. Luminar has got a fantastic dust spot remover. You just click it and 10 seconds later it's removed all the dust spots. Lightroom's got it, but you have to do it manually by clicking the visual spots and then just going around, selecting the eel tool, and just, it doesn't take too long, so it's no big deal. Selecting all the little artifacts that we don't want, even though we probably wouldn't see them anyway. Love me now. My sensor did need cleaning. That's Sony for you. Okay, I think I've got them all. Let's remove that. That's it. So horizon correct, dust spots removed. There's a couple more things I want to remove, and that is just uncheck the visible spots. We want to remove that reflection. That reflection. Now it is using the wrong. I needed to put it on the remove tool, so no problem. Right, so that one I'm going to delete, and we'll redo that with the remove. I've also got a couple of little boys out there. Okay, remove that, and we'll apply. Now I can see one little error where I've missed on the horizon. Just seen that, so we'll do that in a second. Okay, so if we zoom into that bit there, we've still got the horizon. So I'm going to apply that. Really does annoy me how the bar runs right in the middle of the image. That's better. It's more like it's not quite in line, but it's more like it. But we're going to try and blend that in anyway. Okay, so we have got everything. Let's come back out again. It's hardly noticeable and something that we're going to be blending anyway. So the next thing we've got to do is try and marry the sky up with the sea, the water, because the water's all lovely and muddy and the sky's nice and blue, and I want that blueness back in. Before that, I'm just going to crop the bottom off just a little bit, like so. There we go. And there's a little bits here that I'm not quite happy with, so I'm actually going to try and remove that now what I can. It just doesn't sit right with me here where it's generated, so I'm just going to try and get a bit of a better generated fill in there. What I would suggest while doing it, make yourself a cup of tea. Make sure it's nice and hot, because it'll be cold by the time you're finished. Okay, we need to select the background if we can. So let's see how good a select it will do. So select background. Now I've only ever used this tool once before, so I don't tend to use it. So let's just see how good it does. It's done a brilliant job, besides the bit I wanted, which is right in the middle there. So I'm going to leave that for now, because that's as good a mask as I'm going to get. As it's added a little bit to here as well. So can we refine that? No, we can't refine it. Let's just see what it does, because all I want to do is try and bring things together a little bit by suffocate with shadows. There we go. What I'm trying to do is get the exposures similar. In a perfect situation, an overcast day is fantastic for this type of photography, but I do like to see a little bit of texture in the sky as well for me. But if you've got an overcast day, go and do some fine art. So that's doing that. I think I'm going to intersect it with right click on the mask, intersect with radial grad. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over this bit like so, like that, and then I'm going to drop the DAs. And what I'm trying to do now is actually blend in the horizon a little bit. We're going to just drop the clarity there, and we're starting to form an image that's going to blend in quite nice. I'm going to go a little bit more aggressive for that. I'm just going to subtract brush, because it's affecting this one out here. So if I just brush that out, it won't affect it. Need to zoom in a little bit. Right, so just be a little bit more detailed on the brush there. That's brilliant. Let's go back out. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is do another radial filter, come in from the right hand side, subtract subjects, which hopefully will recognise the beach huts. It's done it pretty much besides the back of the beach hut. Just need to zoom in. Let's see how much it will affect it there. I'm just going to de-haze a little bit. Okay, we'll come back out. We're just trying to get it as close as we can. We'll come out again. Radial filter, or radial mask, just in that horizon line there. Again, we'll just drop the de-haze. But all we're doing is trying to get that image closer and closer to the end product. I'm going to put a little bit of contrast into the image that I'm going to drop away again later on. But I'm hoping that contrast will help it select. Okay, so let's select objects. All I'm trying to do is select the beach huts. So we go there, there. This is the tricky bit. And it's the only bit that's really failing is the end of that last beach hut. It's selected it. Yes. The only thing it has done is selected that bit as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to intersect with, see if this works, intersect with subjects. Okay, so it's removed that, unfortunately. So we'll delete the intersect with. Okay, so subtract brush, zoom in on the image. And I'm just going to brush this bit out. So that little bit there is a little bit tricky, but I think we'll get away with it. Okay, I think I can work with that because it's selected 99% of what I want it to select. But now it's the actual background I need to select. So I'm going to duplicate and invert mask. So now I've selected the sky and everything. Okay, now getting somewhere. So the next thing I need to do is, we've selected it, but we're still getting a little bit of that out. So I need to subtract brush, use an R brush. Okay, that mask is as close as I'm going to get. So now I'm going to intersect the mask with a radial grad. We're going to draw over the horizon like so. So what we've done, we've achieved, we've deselected the huts, but now we're selecting just the horizon, and this is what all I'm after is just selecting the horizon. So what I can do now is drop the DAs like so, and the clarity, we'll drop the clarity down to soften everything up. DAs a little bit more. Okay, we're getting there. There's a couple of little mistakes that I'm hoping I'm going to be able to correct. And if we move that there, it'll probably work a little bit better. Okay, that's as far as I think I can punch that in, I think, without overdoing it. Good thing is, now I've created that mask, I can then create another mask, duplicate that mask. So if we click on the mask, duplicate mask, that there, I can then send over to here and use it for that horizon, and then we'll click on the mask, duplicate the mask, inverted copy, and then we'll just drag that over here. Just to get rid of that, and then I'm just going to drop the amount of that down. Okay, fantastic. We're getting somewhere. What I need to do is correct where we've gone over and made mistakes, and I need to adjust that little area there. So we'll address that first. So if we zoom right in on the areas, what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the remove tool, and I'm hoping the remove tool is going to do the work for me. It's not done a lot, but it's done a little bit. Let's just go there. Let's see if it will add a little bit back in now. Oh, that doesn't annoy me that bit. So this is where Photoshop would come into it, would refine it and do, and it'd make a lot better job. But this is what we're doing, is relying all on AI to put that back in for us. We will address these darker areas in a moment. What I'm going to do, I just want to zoom in on that bit and correct that because it's frustrating me. So what I'm going to do with that, mask, color range, click that, come back out, and then if I intersect that mask with a brush, all I need to do is just brush over that bit, the bit I want to select. Okay, I'm going to, while I'm zoomed in, I'm going to get a mask and a brush. Oops, mask and a brush. I'm just going to drop shadows. I'm just going to paint over this bit here. I've dropped shadows, that's not quite worked as much as what I wanted it to. So what I'll do is just tweak that a bit. So I'll up the whites and drop the blacks. So we'll grab the mask brush again. Just got that dark bit. So I'm going to do some more global adjustments now. Come back to the highlights and the contrast. Drop the contrast bar back down again because that will help the image. We don't want it too over contrasty. I'm going to up the DAs, or drop the DAs, drop the clarity, the texture. I want to control this color area here, so I'm actually going to select a mask, color range, select this browny color like so. That's selected pretty much all that I want there. The only thing I would say is it's selecting part of the sky as well. So if we just get subtract and linear grad, just put the grad over the sky, and then that should just affect basically the water. And then what we're going to do, we're going to warm that water up a little bit, like so. Take the reds out. So we're starting to get very close to the image we want. I'm still not 100% happy with one or two bits. What I need to do is compress all these grads and layers that I've put in, all of these selections. I want to compress them all together, and the only way I can do that is actually send it into another program. Well, there's two ways: send it into another program, then bring it straight back in, and that will compress them all. Or I save the image and then import it back in. But if I save it in Photoshop, when it comes back in, it will come back in as a TIFF. So it's a lot larger file. So I'm going to edit in Photoshop. Oh no, I said I weren't going to use Photoshop, or I was going to use it the 0.1%. This is the 0.1%. So I need to compress the image. Now what you got to remember, this is just an exercise in trying to create fine art in Lightroom only. So if we was going to remove tools and remove things and that, I would actually do it in Photoshop, and I'd do it now, or do it even before this process. But this is the only bit I need to use to compress that image. So we've opened up in Lightroom, and all we're going to do is save. So all we've done is compress that file into one image again, rather than multiple masking layers. I think this is an important part because I'm struggling to actually work with all them layers in one go. So it's come up. That's the complete image there. Not only that, it's also changed the colours and everything. The colours that we added, it's changing. So them blues are now blue rather than still brown, if that makes sense. So when we change blue colours, it will select more of it. Anyway, so now we can be a bit more aggressive again with remove tool. I'm going to just try and remove that horizon a little bit. So it should recognise the beach hut corner there that we don't want to delete. Let's just see. Done a great job. So I'm going to do the same with these little bits here. Apply, move that away. Put the corner out of the way. That's that, and we'll do. Just don't want to quite see the horizon. I know it's there, but just don't want to see it. If that makes sense. Okay, let's have a look. That's a lot better job. So I'm just going to zoom in on the image because there's a couple of bits I'm not quite happy with. One of them is this bit here where we've got that dark shadow around here. So I'm going to see if we can get to remove that, and all I'm going to do is do that, apply, move that out of the way so I can see. That's done a better job already. It's done a better job. That's better. That's better. So the next one I'm going to try and correct is this little bit here. On that to look more natural. So I'm going to do that. Now this is where it might struggle and might take a few times to get more natural. It's not a lot of difference. What I'm trying to do is, let's just try it once more, be less aggressive and just there. Just trying to put that rail back in if I can. Let's have one more. Number two, a little bit better. It's not perfect. It's not bad though. We'll come back out. What I'm going to do is just select a radial filter around here, this bit, and I'm just going to I'm going to drop the shadows and the blacks just a little bit. It's a little bit too dark around there for me, so again, there you go, just to make it blend in a little bit. We'll come back out the image, have a look at that, and you can see how more control I've got now. I've compressed it all and I can start removing things again and making it into this fine art. I want this water to be more blue again. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use a linear grad. I'm going to bring it up like so, but then I'm going to subtract subjects. Now I can just add a little bit more tinted blue to it as that reflection, like so. But with that, I want to just drop down the exposure a little bit, just to blend that in a little bit better. There we go. We're still getting some brown colours in there. We'll deal with that. But I'm going to add another linear grad, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of darkness back in there, like so. We can do some more general adjustments now if we up the shadows Let's just brighten that image up a bit, up the shadows like so. That looks better. Then pastel colours really start to pop. Look fantastic. The other thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to try and select a colour range, and it's this brown colour. I'm still not, it's still frustrating me. And then I'm going to subtract the subjects again, and all I want to do is just change the colour of that to a bit bluer, like so. But then again, I'm just going to drop down the saturation a little bit, so it's not quite as blue, not quite as heavy there, and probably just drop down the, there we go. I'm also just drop down the clarity a little bit, make that almost a long exposure, more, or a longer exposure, like so. This is coming together really nice. I'm starting to feel really happy about the image. And do some real final adjustments. I'm not over keen on the tone of the blues, so if we go down into the mixer, we'll just change them colours to a more, we'll actually bring them blues up like so, like that. I'm going to add a grad to the sky, bring that down like so, drop the exposure a little bit. I'm going to add a grad to the bottom. What I would say, if you've added grads to make sort of a vignette, let's say, we'll add a layer of grad on another layer of a grad, and it just gives a more natural blend to the image. Just a little tip there like so. That is looking fantastic. I'm going to give it a little bit of a painterly effect by just dropping the DAs and the clarity, and the clarity, sorry. I'm just going to up the texture of that. That is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to just another select objects or subjects, sorry, select subjects, and I'm just going to drop the shadows back down, and that's already somewhere there, and I'm just going to up the sharpness of it, or the texture of it slightly, but drop the clarity. There we go. So it's a double effect there. We'll have a look at that. That's the image created. We could work with it a little bit more and tweak it and do what you want and what have you, but it just shows you what you can actually do in Lightroom. We just need to transfer it over to Photoshop or another program to save that image, to flatten it, to bring it back in, just to finalize it. That's what I've found trying to do this process. But can you do it? Yes, you can. Obviously, we can convert that to black and white as well and edit it that way as well. I'm not going to do that, but I will do that, and I'll show you the end results of that. So I quite like the colour in this because of the pastel colours of the actual beach huts. I think they look absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so we've come an awful long way. We've created a real fine art image. It looks fantastic. It's not perfect and it still needs a little bit of work on it, but you know what? I'm really happy with the results. Okay, I'm going to finish this off by doing some final edits. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've learned one or two things about the masking and what have you. Thanks for watching so much. See you soon.